Although our group has said that Superman is a Christ figure in the sense that he comes to Earth to help people in his first coming and then returns again to save the world, Billy Batson, or Clapson Marvel, can also be seen as Christ-like, as was mentioned in Dr. Ogden's lecture. In Pastor McKay and the Spectre's Journey, they observe the galactic lord and immortals, the quintessence of all power cosmic, who seem the closest to the Christian concept of God. One of these, the Wizards, begs for intervention on Earth, saying of Captain Marvel, "I could love him no more were he my son." This scene seems reminiscent of God the Father's love for God the Son, Jesus, in Trinitarian Christianity. At Kingdom Come's climax, as Superman asks Billy Batson, Captain Marvel, who is a man and a Superman, to make a choice, he is similar to Christ, who is both a man and God the Son in the Trinity. It's even more apparent. Superman says, "More than anyone who ever existed, you know what it's like to live in both worlds." When Captain Marvel stops the bomb, sacrificing himself in the process, it recalls Christ's death as a sacrifice to redeem humans from sin. In Kingdom Come, Captain Marvel's action redeems both superhumans and regular humans from destruction. However, Captain Marvel is also somewhat like God the Father, because the destruction of the bomb causes judgment, according to the Spectre. With Captain Marvel's action, the world is saved, which gives McKay the conviction to confront Superman, to confront his own Christian-like identity of both man and God. Superman's renewed commitment gives everyone hope and restores faith. The crisis with faith and the renewal of hope that McKay experiences is entirely of a Christian nature. At the end of the story, McKay returns to his church and preaches to his now enormous congregation, "But there is faith. I preach the lessons they have taught me. That dream is not always a prophecy, that the future, like so much else, is open to interpretation, and the hope is brightest when it dawns from fear." I included the argument characterizing Captain Marvel as another Christ figure because I want to make it clear that I'm not asserting that Kingdom Come is an allegory for the revelation of St. John or the rest of the Bible, or that Superman or Captain Marvel are allegories for Jesus Christ. I merely wish to point out that Kingdom Come is a text that relies on Christian conventions, and that it may be a text that encourages readers towards the Christian models of faith and hope. According to Professor Clint Burnham, during a period in English studies where comics are becoming respected and studied as literature, the preachy Christian element in Kingdom Come actually drags comics down to the level of Christianity or religion. For him, as a secular academic, the religious is not necessarily a positive element. However, for those who believe that the salvation that Christianity promises is real and pertinent, the religious element of Kingdom Come can be seen as its best aspect. According to the Christian popular culture scholar Stephen Skelton, the author of a book called The Gospel According to the World's Greatest Superhero, Superman is not Jesus Christ, but he is a Christ figure, a figure resembling Christ, as we all should be. As a practicing Christian, Skelton asserts that God uses secular art, like Superman comics and films, to reach out to people and lead them to his love and salvation. He states, "To reject what the pagan says, simply because the pagan is saying it, is putting ourselves in danger of rejecting what God is trying to say through the pagan." While Skelton's ideas are dependent upon a belief in the existence of God and the assumption that Christian truth is the truth, his arguments illustrate the power and the prevalence of the search for spirituality in North American society. For Skelton, Superman is important because he may, through film and comics, lead the audience to examine their spiritual beliefs and lead them to seek the Christian God. From a secular perspective, whether or not God is actually saying anything to the audience is not as important as the fact that the audience may be led to some form of action based on what religious overtones they may detect. According to Campus Crusade for Christ chaplain John Howe, the stories of the life of Jesus are written as and claimed to be non-fiction. If you read Kingdom Come, your interest may be piqued, but your life is not changed. The life of Jesus is one that makes a claim that can change people's lives. If the story of Superman actually happened or not doesn't really matter. It's the ideas espoused in the story that are important. Because Kingdom Come is a story of renewed hope and faith, and because many readers are interested in developing their personal spirituality, whatever that may be, this text may present an attractive way of coming to terms with faith. Because the faith that Kingdom Come presents is predominantly based on a Christian tradition, it seems only natural that the reader, curious about spirituality, will be led towards at least researching the Christian text that Kingdom Come alludes to. Overall, Kingdom Come might be seen as a door to Christianity. In Skelton's view, this means that God is actually speaking to the reader through the text, and in a secular view, this means that the book, through its allusions, has led the reader to a further consideration of morality from the Christian view. Will this book actually make readers convert? Who knows? At the best or worst, it raises awareness of Christianity as a religion that offers hope and faith. In a word then, Kingdom Come reaffirms the status quo in North American society of Christianity as the dominant and moral governing system, or Christian values as normative values.
Superman as a messiah or a prophet is my part of the project. Superman, or Clark Kent, is a man who indubitably draws parallels to Christ, but is he a messiah or prophet figure? A messiah is an actual or expected liberator or savior of an oppressed people, according to the OED, and a prophet is seen as a divinely inspired interpreter, revealer, or teacher of the will or thought of a god or gods, a person who speaks or is regarded as speaking for a god. Superman's relationship to the civilians and metahumans is outlined by his version of justice, a message he proposes to the world and he enforces himself. Clark Kent has a physical charisma that appeals to any Christian or any general audience. He exudes a strong, powerful aura shown by clearly defining a positive image. He is seen as a blue-collar worker, clean-shaven, strong, and sturdy. His stature clearly defines a man who leaks confidence when needed. His powers and confidence gain followers and in turn trust. In comparison to Jesus' actions, Superman performed feats, even miracles, for the civilians. On pages 66 to 67, Superman and his Justice League are seen moving a symbol of American power, the Statue of Liberty, which can be taken as a metaphor for the actual military power for the United States. Superman is seen as able to control metahumans and humans alike. At times, they cower in fear of him. Even to the metahumans, Superman is on a pedestal because of his greater powers. Superman is the Messiah figure. Superman returns from the self-banishment on page 67 to 69, publicly announcing that he will guide, with force if needed, the misleaded superhumans. Immediately, he sees himself as forced into action to save the humans from disaster. He represents a savior, bringing himself back for the good of the people. The metahumans are the oppressors of normal civilians, and Superman targets them. He chooses the UN as a background for this announcement, showing a need for diplomacy, not total control over regular people. As a messiah, he is only needed as long as there is a crisis, which explains the peace at the end of the graphic novel, where he can resume to just blending in as a regular person. Superman as a prophet figure. Superman's ideals of justice are shown in his speech at the UN, and also in the way that he takes control over the metahumans. The Justice League resembles a completely diligent task force with no ulterior motives or agency. Not only does he come out of banishment having no contact with the other Justice League members, it's surprising that he already has support. His ideals are the basis of the group, and only Wonder Woman challenges these ideals. Superman also projects his visions to the metahumans, who he locks into prison to contain them. In this vision, the world should be free of all superheroes who do not follow his vision. The people do not object to his views, accepting him as the better ones, taking him for granted as being a prophet.